Better Late Than Never. Welcome.
It's my favorite.
Fucking Anton Lander. Anton Lander. All right, we're going to turn it down. We're going to get started. Yes, Ceases. Ceases, hello. Welcome. Turning the intro down, going to get started. Just jump right in. Better late than never. It is Wednesday. I'm back on schedule this week, although wasn't easy to be here on schedule this week. I'll tell you about that in a sec. First, I want to give a shout out to the audio department for making it all possible. Check them out at theaudiodepartment.ca. Book yourself some studio time. Record a podcast. Record an album. Record a mixtape. Record your spoken poetry jam. Whatever you want. They are good people over there. They will help you out, and you will sound better than I could ever dream, though they are working on it with me. So shout out to the audio department. I'm going to give Waz a call here in a little bit. He made a fun little article that's going up at Oilers Nation tomorrow at 7 a.m. about your first favorite Oiler, the person that made you fall in love with the Edmonton Oilers, and I'm looking forward to it. First, though, I'm going to start off on I'm just going to go into it. I had a bad start to the week. It is what it is. So I'll tell you the story. Late Monday, if you were in the city on Monday, you know that it was extremely hot here. 30 degrees, hot as fuck. It was super humid. Like, it was one of those scorcher days in the summer. You go, whew, it does get hot in Edmonton, huh? Damn. So as a result, took my dog Frank. You all know him. If you're listening to this, you know my dog Frank. So I took him for a walk to the park that evening when it had cooled off a little bit. I don't know, probably an hour cruise or so, something in there. And when we got home, everything was all good. He went into his kennel and had a sleep for about an hour, which is totally normal and on par for the course with just kind of how he acts after a long walk. He was doing a lot of running, a lot of sprinting. He's a fast as fuck boy. He is fast as fuck boy. But after about an hour, 90 minutes in his bed, again, that part's normal. I go, all right, Frank, come on, let's go outside. Or come to bed, I should say. Well, let's go to bed. And as he got out of his... I'm going to get emotional just saying it. As he got out of his kennel, he couldn't stand. He was completely wobbly. His legs were giving out underneath him. He had no balance at all. His eyes were looking at me and they looked scared. His head was droopy and bobby. So I understandably, at least I freaked out a little bit, and actually a lot. And I popped Frank in the car and I drove him straight to the emergency vet. So by the time we got to the emergency vet, it's past midnight probably. And he's completely wobbly. He can't walk in a straight line. I had him sitting, I was just looking at him before I left my house, and I was like, he was sitting on his bed in my kitchen, and I just said, Frank, shake, because I wanted to see just kind of where he was at, and he fell over. He couldn't even just lift one paw. He fell over. And so I took him to the emergency vet right away. I was scared. I was freaking out. So get there, and I was worried that he had heat stroke. A lot of the symptoms were there. He was disoriented. He was kind of confused. He was, it was a very hot day. He's a short-faced dog, so it's a real concern. And I was really scared that I overdid it, and I pushed him. And in my head, I was like, but he was having so much fun. He didn't seem tired. And like, what did I do wrong? They did the tests for heat stroke, and fortunately it was not that. Fortunately, he had something else. In a park near my house, which was where we were on that walk, Frank somehow found and ingested a pill. So Frank ate someone's drugs, essentially. It was, I think, the third test they gave him, which was a narcotics exam. And it came back positive. It came back positive for a barbiturate. I didn't even know what that was. I had no idea what it was. Initially, when they said they wanted to do a drug test, it was because over the last couple of years, they've had a lot of late night visits at the emergency vet where, you know, a dog had gotten into somebody's edibles or, you know, something accidental or something like you could kind of think about. But in this situation, it was a hard drug that he ingested and fucked him up, fucked me up. So we get the test results back from his narcotics exam that showed that he had involuntarily or accidentally ingested a barbiturate. The good news was at that point in the evening, it was about 3 a.m., I guess, at that point, he had started to kind of, I wouldn't say liven up. That's not what I would say. That's not how I would put it. But he was looking more alert than he had been a couple hours earlier when I first got there. And so the vet ultimately recommended a couple of things. He said one would be to leave him here on a drip overnight to get all of this out of his system. But then he said, but listen, he's looking better since he got here. I think you can probably take him home and monitor him. And obviously we're open 24/7. And if anything happens, rush right back here. Fortunately, I'm very lucky that there's an emergency vet not far from my house here in the West End. And when I got home, I had to wake him up every 2 hours, every 90 minutes to make sure that he could awake from what was ultimately a deep sedative that he took. So thankfully he's okay. You know, as I'm recording this right now, he's sleeping beside me. The vet told us, like, listen, this is what he took. These are generally why they're given out. This is how they're abused these days because, of course, we have fucking abuse everything as a people. So expect him to sleep for a day or two while he starts to kind of get it out of his system and work it out. And as I'm sitting here recording today, it's 4:54 on Wednesday afternoon. He's still like, he's more back to himself. So the good news is that Frank's going to be okay, and he is okay. But man, that's scary. So I don't even know where I'm going with this outside of just like sharing my life with you. You welcome me into your ears or wherever you're listening to this right now. So I'm welcoming you into my life. And all right, relax. Frank's okay. No need to tear up, bag milk. You're okay. But I guess the takeaway from this is got to be really careful. You know, it could be a 1 in a million accident that Frank ate something off the ground. He's not the kind of dog that just eats things, generally speaking. But sometimes he is a dog, and if he thinks something is food, he'll try and eat it. And a lot of times his drop it is really good. His leave it is okay. His drop it is excellent, but his leave it is okay. And most of the time I get him to drop it, or he doesn't even go for it. Or this was one of those ones where I don't even know when it happened or what he ate, you know, because he's just down on the ground sniffing, and he was on his long line. So he was 40 feet away from me, and he was just cruising and living his best life. So I guess if you have a dog or a pet or an animal or a kid or whatever, you know, just be careful, because arguably one of the most scared I've been in quite some time. So good news is that Frank's okay. Good news is that Frank's going to bounce back. Frank is looking at me very confused right now. He's like, why are you upset, bro? We just had a walk just now. It was all good. Admittedly, I'm a little bit freaked out, and we'll probably stick with the short leash for a minute, even though that's more my issue than his issue. But just be careful, because I was legitimately scared there for a little bit that I might lose him, and very thankful to the emergency vet on the West End for helping me out. And if there's a funny part of this story, which there is, I'll get to it. When you get your dog a drug test, they will give you back the drug test. So now I have a narcotics exam that shows that Frank could not piss a piss test if he tried, at least today. So that part kind of makes me laugh, only because he's okay, and only because he's back to normal, and only because I got lucky. But it's kind of a reminder of that and my credit card bill, of course. If you've ever been to an emergency vet, let me tell you, they don't give you a discount. But I'm grateful anyway. I would do it 1,000 times. 1,000 times out of 1,000. I regret nothing. just happy my dude's okay. So if you have a dog, the vet told me that this is becoming a problem in the city where dogs are inadvertently eating things on the ground. It could be a joint. It could be a roach of a joint. It could be an edible. It could be a pill, like was the case in Frank's situation. Just be careful is all I'm asking if you have a dog, because dogs are going to dog. And as much as we try to watch them as best we can, sometimes things still come up. So sorry for the bummer. That wasn't what I had planned to start off the podcast here today. But it happened and I wanted to share it. So be careful. Hug your dog. Let's get to the news. The news. All right, Bag Milk, pull together. I've got a show to do. The news is brought to you by me. If you want to sponsor this segment, hit me up, bagmilk@oilersnation.com. I've got space for you. I'll make you a deal. I'll cut you a deal. How's that? I want to start off with a story that Waz wrote at oilersnation.com. Again, I'm going to be calling Waz here. I'm trying something new. Again, this goes back to the presidential debates that we want to have and just the fun that I want to have with the boys. I want to test out the Bluetooth capabilities on the Rodecaster a little bit more in terms of how it works with my phone. So I'm going to call Waz about an article he wrote. Your first favorite Oiler. Who made you fall in love with the Oilers? But first, the article that Waz wrote a couple of days ago really took off on the website. Really took off on the website. It was Darnell Nurse appeared on Luke Gazdick's podcast, Mitts Off. And he dropped the line, "I feel like I've been blamed for everything from a goal against to traffic on Stony Plain Road." And I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. They were talking about expectations and pressure was signing a deal of the magnitude that Darnell Nurse signed. And he was incredibly honest and he was incredibly candid. And I quote, "I mean, there was expectation before I signed the contract of what I think I'm capable of performing at and being at each night and every night. I think the value, or whatever you want to describe it, is going to bring. I mean, I've played myself in a high pressure market since I first came into the league. Like, it's great. It's great. For me personally, I love it because there's that juice. There's fire in the summer." And when it comes to the naysayers, I quote Darnell Nurse says, "I mean, you also have to take a lot of stuff with a grain of salt. Like sometimes I feel like I've been blamed for everything from a goal against to the traffic on Stony Plain Road, right? So it's like you just have to be really cognizant of what that pressure you put on yourself. There's no one that's going to expect more out of me than me. And that's something that has been instilled in me since I was very young. So yeah, there's pressure that comes along with that." This morning on my radio hit on Cruise, I talked about Darnell Nurse and specifically that quote. And it was just kind of interesting because to me, it reminds me very much of the Sean Horkoff situation. He signed that massive deal after putting up 70 plus points. The Oilers went to the Stanley Cup Finals that year. And for him, a 5.5 over 5 or 6, I don't remember exactly what it was now. That was a huge deal at the time. And for a lot of people, they never let Hork live it down, that he signed a contract they felt was too much money. Now listen, Darnell Nurse, I feel like that contract's too much too. I'm with you. But some of the vitriol and the blame that goes his way is just, to me, is completely wild. Completely wild. I actually think he's going to be much better this year, having a second year of Matthias Ekholm on the team, because ultimately I think that it's going to help him calm down. He won't have to feel like he has to do so much because he's got another stud there right there with him in Matthias Ekholm. And I think that's going to help Darnell Nurse's game a lot. So that's my theory. That's my hope for this season. But I think I'm right. So if you want to go check out Waz's article, it's a good one. You can read a bunch of the quotes or go watch the Mitts Off podcast with Luke Gazdick is on YouTube. Speaking of Matthias Ekholm, however, want to give a shout out to Matthias Ekholm and his lovely wife, who just gave birth to a young man named, hang on, wait for it. They named him Leon Ekholm. Now, did they name him after Leon Draisaitl? Probably not. But what I would say is, will that child harness the power of Leon Draisaitl while also harnessing the power of his dad's beard? Probably so. So I want to congratulate the Ekholm family on their newest edition. And frankly, I love that it happened here. So to Ida and Matthias Ekholm, congrats. Thank you for adopting our city as your own. Thank you for summering here. Thank you for spending the time with us. I think it's great. I love that you're here. I'm excited that you're still here. And congratulations on the baby. Right? Good to have a baby in the off season. You're not going to sleep, Matthias? At least not for a little bit, you know? At least not for a little bit. So, to me, I think this is great. I love it. I think everything about it is excellent. And you know what? I'm all for it. I'm all for it. In other news, we are still waiting on Ryan McLeod and his new contract. What I want to know is, now that we're at July 26th as I record this, are we going to arbitration? And if we're going to arbitration, do I need to do another reenactment of what that looks like?
Do you need me here? Do you want to do another arbitration reenactment? I know we did that a couple of weeks ago, but Satan's always ready to tell you why you suck.
No, Satan, I don't need your help right now, but maybe if we get a little bit closer. According to Frank Saravalli on the DFO rundown from Monday, Alina wrote about it at OilersNation.com, so you can check out all the quotes there as well. I quote, "The team that's hurting the most from this is the Edmonton Oilers trying to get Ryan McLeod done, because I think they were trying to wedge him in just south of $2 million or just south of $2 million, and now that number is sadly going to look like $2.5 million. At some point, that number is going to become, I don't want to say unpalatable, but it's really going to be hard for them to swallow because they're really going to have to squeeze Evan Bouchard." Gregor said, "I had heard that the McLeod negotiations were pretty close." Saravalli says, "I don't think that's accurate." So you've got two people there who have access to the organization, and Jason and Frank, saying opposite ends of the spectrum, I guess. But we'll see where it plays out. We'll please see where it plays out. Another angle on this is Gregor wrote Philip Kursev's arbitration award good for Ryan McLeod. He was awarded $2.25 million with Chicago. And now that's looking like it might be kind of where McLeod lands up, because Kursev, his points were, lesser on a prorated over 82 game basis than McLeod's were. So I don't know, man. I don't know. We're going to see what happens here, but Ryan McLeod is turning into more of a story than I thought it would be. And I don't blame him from his perspective either. Like, I'm trying to think of it from his side. He got squeezed by the Oilers last year when he signed for $798. And this year he's probably saying, listen, fuck you. At least fuck you a little bit. I just hope it doesn't go to arbitration, because then it gets ugly. So I'm really hoping both sides come to a deal before that.
I wanted to go to arbitration so that we have to do another reenactment, and I get to make you very uncomfortable by airing out all your secrets and all the things that you feel sensitive about.
Quiet down, Satan. But where does that leave Evan Bouchard? Because Evan Bouchard's agent's got to be on the phone with Ken Hall and being like, let's get a deal done. And he goes, I can't get something done unless this arbitration thing gets handled. And then Evan Bouchard's agent is probably like, what does that have to do with Evan Bouchard? He is your, at least today, probably number one right winger, or right-handed defenseman, I should say, not right winger. Maybe put him up on the right wing. I'd like to see what that looks like. Anyway, it's going to be another interesting situation. I don't know how it's going to play out. I have no idea what's going to happen here, but we'll see what happens. Of course, the arbitration date for Ryan McLeod is set for August 4th. And with that, I'm going to bring in my boy Waz. I'm going to give him a call. We're going to see how this goes on the Roadcaster through the Bluetooth. Oh, we're ringing.
Hello, sir.
Waz, we're recording
Yes.
Better Late Than Never right now, pal. How you doing?
It's a great podcast. I'm doing well today.
You are cutting out, or I'm cutting out, and we're not having a good start here testing out my Roadcaster Bluetooth capabilities. Waz, let's see how it goes.
I'm optimistic.
I'm optimistic too. So why I wanted to call you is because tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Mountain Time, you have an article going up at OilersNation.com where you asked, who's the first Edmonton Oiler that you fell in love with? And I love the question. I think it's fun to do this kind of stuff because all of us have a different answer. So I'm going to start off by asking you, Waz, two questions. Number one, who is the Oiler that made you fall in love with the team? Was there a specific player? Mm-hmm. And second, the second question is just as you were putting this together, because you take all of your answers from social media, what did you kind of learn from doing this exercise?
So the first player that I fell in love with, right?
Yep.
Mine was Sam Gagne. I posted the answer on social media. It was because he was signing autographs at a Best Buy opening near my house. And it was like that. Like a 10-year-old Waz gets an autograph and fall in love with an Oiler.
I mean, that's not like for a kid that like one of my answers that I would say is probably Bill Ranford was because of the exact same thing. Back in the Rexall Place days, especially in the early 90s, you used to be able to go underneath the arena and hang out outside the Oilers dressing room, and they would come over and sign autographs for kids. So the first autograph I ever got was from Bill Ranford, and I'll never forget it. So Sam Gagne is a great pick for that reason.
Yeah, and even right now, I'm staring at the image he signed for me. I have on my wall still to this day. So,
what was it? What'd you get? What'd you get signed?
Oh, he signed a picture that said Best Buy Sam Gagne.
I like that it was a sponsored picture that he had. I love that.
So I tried getting a photo with him, but we had like one of those shitty cameras back in the day, and
yeah, sure. That sucks.
So, but what I learned from the exercise, Bill Ranford was a popular answer.
Yep. Understandably so.
Alice Hemsky.
Another great one for a long
lot of love.
For a lot of us was like Hemsky was the only reason to watch for a long time. The Oilers were bad and he was their best player for a long time.
Well, yeah, also like I grew up in that time with Gagne, Hemsky, Paul Eberle, so Hemsky was one of the more exciting players to follow.
Yeah, he really was. I'm looking in the back end too. Obviously, a notable one, Ryan Smith. How can you not love Captain Canada? How can you not love Smitty?
The one that surprised me, though, I didn't really, in the article, it was an honorable mention, but people loved Bill Flett.
Bill Flett?
Do you know who Bill Flett is?
I do not know who Bill Flett is. You know that's the kind of Oilers. Sorry, go ahead.
No, he's like that one Oiler, like one of the best beards, mustaches in franchise history.
I'm going to Google this right now while we're talking. Bill Flett. You know what? This beard is outrageous. It does look excellent. Was the kind of...
I think yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say Bill Flett's... Was it Wanye who answered this? Because that's the kind of name that Wanye would come up with. He's great at coming up with obscure Oilers that you just forget that they existed.
No, I saw it once. Someone other than Wanye. No, Wanye didn't answer. There's a couple answers on Facebook and Twitter.
Mm. Yeah.
So, of course, Facebook was more, they're talking about like Gretzky, Messier, Semenko.
The classics, as we call them.
So, yeah. Doug Waite?
Doug Waite was a great one. So back in the day it's too bad that they don't still do this. I've talked about it on Real Life a handful of times. The Oilers used to have a thing called Carnival of Champions where you could go hang out with...
Somebody commented that. I'm like, what's Champions?
So Carnival of Champions they used to hold it at Rexall Place or Skyreach Center or whatever it was called in those days. And you could go play games essentially with Edmonton Oilers and at that time, Edmonton Eskimos. So like for me... You could go, stand in line and get your picture taken with Doug Waite, which is what I did. You could go shoot foam pucks on an Oilers goalie. So I shot on Freddie Brathwaite with a foam puck, and it was just kind of cool because I was a little kid. He let it in. They used to do really cool activations with the public, and I wish that they still did that because it was so much fun. And like for a little guy like me at that time, it really attached me to the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me and Sam Gagne, right?
Yeah, exactly. He signs an autograph for you, maybe said, hi, how you doing? Gives you a little attention, and then all of a sudden you're hooked for life.
And it's kind of like why I'm always open to Gagne returning Oilers.
Well,
like, bring him back. Bring him back.
Well, maybe there's time, Waz. Maybe there's still time. Cruising around socials a little bit. Obviously, if you don't know Waz runs all our social medias for Oilers Nation and beyond. He does a lot of stuff around the network as well. Did you also ask this question on TikTok? Like, who is your first favorite Oiler?
I did not.
Oh, because I would have been curious to see, just because we have such different... Like, if you look at... Waz and I talk about this a lot at the office, where what somebody says on Facebook is not what they say on Twitter or X.com. Are you calling it X.com, Waz?
Not yet. The logo's still confusing me a bit.
Yeah, it's confusing me too, pal. But like the what I was getting to is the answers on Facebook are not Twitter, they're not Instagram, they're not TikTok. So TikTok, the demo is just much younger than some of the other socials that we have. So I've just been really curious. Like I see you mentioned in here, Taylor Hall got some mentions, and to me that's wild because, I mean, I'm just quite a bit older than you, but it's wild that of course Taylor Hall was somebody's first favorite Oiler.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like I think he was my second favorite Oiler. I think, for whatever reason, it's like I loved Ryan Smith, but I never got attached to him like some kids.
Yeah,
like my friends loved Dwayne Rolson.
Yeah, like probably because I imagine, like, when did you really, really become an Oilers fan? Like, how old do you think you were, or what era?
Maybe the year after he traded.
Yeah, so you didn't see like peak Ryan Smith. Like I was in the building in 2006 when he got his teeth knocked out, and then he came back and got an assist on the OT winner to Sean Horikoff. So like those were the memories that locked me into Ryan Smith. You were just probably too young to have all that.
Yeah, I have some memory of 06. 06 will always stand out. I think Pronger and Wilson were the two players that really stood out to me. I remember being 9 years old, and I went to a birthday party at Hooters.
Nice.
My 9-year-old celebrating a party at Hooters. But
well, what a magical day that must have been.
Yes. We went to the water park and then we went to Hooters.
Oh, great day. For a young Waz, come on, that's a great day.
But I had to ask the kid, I'm like, are Jason Smith and Ryan Smith related? I thought they were brothers for the longest time.
Well, fair enough. You know, both named Smith. Didn't know that they were spelled differently. I get it.
Yeah.
Hey, if you don't mind, Waz, I want to ask you just because I've got you on here. Right now, the Women's World Cup is going on. And as I'm looking here today, Canada beat the Republic of Ireland. What can you tell me about Canada's chances at the Women's World Cup? Because obviously they won the Olympics. So to me, I don't pay attention to soccer or football. Sorry, Waz. I don't pay attention. So teach me. Give me a little primer on what we can expect Canada at the Women's World Cup.
Canada at the Women's World Cup, I'd say they have a nice mix of experience, young, skillful talent. I would definitely check out Caroline's podcast because they've been doing in-depth analysis of the World Cup. I would say it's like, it's tough to say 70-30 for Canada to win the World Cup. Maybe it's a little too much. But
who would be like...
They just defeated Ireland today.
Yeah, they just defeated Ireland. So I want to ask you, the reason I'm asking you too is I've got a bet. We haven't set the stakes yet with Dukes. You know Dukes. When does Canada play Australia? It's coming up
next. I think they're in the same group.
It's coming up pretty quick here. So I'm gonna Google this while we're talking about it. What do you think our chances are against Australia? Because if you say that we've got good, okay, so we've got Monday, July 31st at 4 a.m. Canada plays Australia. What do you think our chances are against the Aussies? Because I want to make a bet with Dukes. We are going to bet something, and we're going to donate. The loser is going to donate to charity. So I would love to have Dukes donating to the Edmonton Humane Society, but I need to make sure that we're going to lock this in. And if you tell me that Canada's got a good chance against the Aussies, we're going to make this a heavy bet with Dukes.
Okay, so I'm going to look at their lineup real quick. I know Australia is missing Golden Girl Sam Kerr, so that gives us a bit of an edge. I think Christine Sinclair might be injured. So I'm going to give Canada the slight edge, being Olympic champions. Australia's got soil, but I think Canada's a bit better on paper. All
right. Well, there you have it. Waz, I'm going to take your word on it. Yeah. Dukes, I'm coming for you, bro. I'm coming for you for the Monday, July 31st game, Canada-Australia at the Women's World Cup. Waz, of course.
4 a.m.
4 a.m., yeah. That's a bright and early game, Waz. Let me ask you a question.
I will not be waking up for that.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let's say there was a game at 4 a.m. that you did want to watch. Would you think you would be better off staying up until 4 a.m. or trying to wake up at 4 a.m.?
Oh, I'd rather wake up. Just gives you a chance to get a little bit more done during the day.
Yep, that's fair. I'll allow it.
I actually did that during the Men's World Cup for it was Argentina versus Saudi Arabia. It was 100% worth it because the Saudis beat Argentina.
What do you?
And then,
sorry, go ahead.
No, you.
What do you make about the talk of that Mbappe contract?
Oh, that's ridiculous. It's not going to happen, but Saudi is taking over the world of soccer while they're signing players for ridiculous fees. Money is water to them, basically.
Yeah, essentially.
Are you going to ask Waz about the birds, or are we not going to acknowledge the birds?
I wasn't going to ask Waz about the birds.
I saw a giant bird over the weekend.
Uh-huh.
I think it was a pelican.
I also saw a pelican over the weekend. How'd that make you feel?
It was at a lake.
Were you murderous rage?
No, I had to respect it.
Can we get eyes on that pelican and make sure this kid didn't kill that pelican? Look, there's birds all over the city, Waz. I know you're doing it. I've been watching you do it, Waz.
I didn't even know we had pelicans in Alberta for the longest time.
To be honest, you don't see them often, that's for sure. I was surprised to see a pelican the other day.
It's like... we got geese, but pelicans, yeah.
We do have geese. Geese are assholes. Another thing I want to ask you about, Waz, is something that you and I talk about in the office a little bit. You've been with us now for 3 years or 2 years?
Yeah. It's like 2.5 almost. I don't know.
2.5. So a minute. You've been with us a minute. Now we are in another off season. We are in late July going into August. How are you finding coming up with content for the Oilers at this time, especially when there is absolutely no news? There's no rumors. All we can talk about is Ryan McLeod. How are you finding it so far this summer?
Speaking of Ryan McLeod, I think I've posted about him like 4 times today.
Uh-huh.
So I can't wait for that comment.
What is what's the kind of vibe when you post about Ryan McLeod on social? Like, are people angry that this is dragging on, or are they just like sign him, or they do not care?
That's a great question, because I posted something just recently, a little video on McLeod, and people are saying he's not worth $2 million. He's not worth more than $2 million. In my opinion, I think he's worth $2 million, but people don't want to see him get more than $2 million, 2.5. So.
Well, that was so right before I called you, was doing a little talk about the Ryan McLeod arbitration. And, Frank said he doesn't think that the team and the player are close on the negotiations just yet. But before that, I talked about your Darnell Nurse article where he said, look, I feel like I've been blamed for everything from a goal against traffic on Stony Plain Road. You wrote that article. It absolutely smashed on the site this week. What was it kind of like for you putting that one together?
It was a lot of fun. The response was interesting because people took it a little too out of context. They thought he was crying.
Yeah, it was a
quote where he was just, he laughed it off.
It was a clear joke to me.
Yeah, but I was really happy to hear him talk about the contract, because that's all people talk about Darnell Nurse.
Yep, you're 100% right. You're 100%
so
right.
To kind of get his opinion on it was nice to hear. I do wonder how he handles social media. Does he just stay off of it? I think there's always so much negativity going on Darnell.
Yeah, 100%. Don't you think though that if you were a pro athlete, I think for me, I would not have social media outside of maybe I would have someone run a social media account for me where it's like, hey, like Connor, you know what I mean? Where he's like, hey, I got new fucking CCM skates or whatever. What do you think you would do? I
think I would try to avoid it. But also, if I wanted to say something, I would say something.
Yeah,
I'd try to have more fun with it. But if I was in Darnell's position, I would stay off it 100%.
Yeah, I would too. I just can't imagine him checking his Twitter as any fun ever.
But back to your original comment about how close to posting content this late in the off season. It's been going well.
It has been going well.
I've kind of got a nice layout idea of what I want to post throughout the day. I've been working on some new graphics for social. Yep. They've been doing well. Yep. So But nice.
How do you think you've evolved your opinion on posting content in the 2.5, close to 3 years that you've been working at Oilers Nation?
Opinion? What do you mean my opinion? Like
when you first started and when we first would have conversations about being like, no, like we don't want to post only a couple times a day. We want to post the max amount we can every day. And now just that's your routine and you're working on new graphics. So like, do you think your opinion on posting things on social has changed at all working with us? Or do you think it's just been a natural evolution of what you were doing before?
I think I've had a lot more fun with it now. It's like I'll post something and if some people don't like it, it's all good. It's like, it's whatever. I know that the good content will always come during the regular season, and then, some content hits, some content misses.
But as we always do, we just keep posting.
Exactly. Like, I might have a post that's like, this is a little weird, but I'm going to post it anyways. And like, next thing you know, it's got like 3,000 likes.
Yeah. Some things, it's one of the funny things, again, taking you guys behind the scenes, is sometimes we think things are not going to do well and they do incredibly well. And then the reverse also happens where maybe we think something's going to smash and it doesn't do so well. Like as an example, on the website specifically, like when Waz pitched that idea for the Darnell Nurse quote from Luke Gazik's podcast, Mitts Off, I was like, oh yeah, this one's going to pop. And it did. Mm-hmm. Waz, you now have the most viewed article in July with that one.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Before I let you go here, my question of the week is, I'm going to ask you because I'm going to get to it a little bit later. What is the worst fast food restaurant and why? And the reason I asked this is because I found this rating from Rave Reviews. It's not new by any means. It's a couple years old at this point, but it said, and I was surprised to see this, the most hated fast food brand in Canada is Orange Julius. And I don't even think of Orange Julius ever. So maybe, I don't know who's hating Orange Julius. I just don't think of it. So I guess my question to you is, what is your most hated fast food brand and why?
I don't know if it's hated, but I never go to Burger King.
That got a lot of votes. Burger King got a lot of votes.
Yeah. Doesn't get a lot of love. I find that their meal deals are very cheap, and that kind of worries me. Another one I think is maybe Taco Time.
Interesting.
I've had like all right meals here and there, but sometimes it's a weird place. It's like it's knockoff Taco Bell.
It is. It's one of those ones where, like Taco Bell, I go in there not expecting a legit, fantastic taco. It's just one of those.
I had one really good. I had their version of a Crunchwrap Supreme at Web, and it was very good actually. But after that, it's like, yeah.
Oh, Taco Time get a little shrapnel from Roz. Sorry?
What's the best, do you think?
Well, this one's a tougher one for me because I want to think about, like, I've asked a different version of that question on the podcast before, where it's like, if you could only eat at one fast food restaurant for the rest of your life, which one would it be? So I think about it that way. To me, I like a fast food place that's got a little bit of variety. You know, like I could never pick KFC because like I love chicken, but well, I guess I don't really like KFC that much, but I can never pick KFC because it's only chicken. You know what I mean? There's like, that's what else do you do? So like I would always pick something like McDonald's, and that would surprise people because they have burgers, they've got chicken, you can have some nugs if you want, you can have ice cream.
It's not as bad as people make it out to be.
Well, it's like, you know what you get when you go on McDonald's. It doesn't matter where it is on earth. If you go on a McDonald's, you know what you're going to get.
I'm always satisfied with chicken nuggets.
Who doesn't love nuggies? Come on, man.
Right?
Of course. What's your favorite, Was?
Honestly, you made a good point with the lack of variety. Like, you want variety. But I'm going to go with Five Guys.
I haven't had Five Guys in a long time.
I had it last night.
Go ahead.
And I was just satisfied. Like, this is the perfect burger.
The perfect burger, eh?
I think so. From a fast food restaurant.
Maybe I need to pop into a Five Guys. I haven't gone in forever. All right, pal. Well, I appreciate you.
Perfect.
check out Waz's article tomorrow morning. We're talking on Wednesday evening, Waz and I right now. So on Thursday morning to lead off the day, Waz got a fresh one going up at OilersNation.com. First Oiler that made you fall in love with the team. And if you're listening to this right now, hit up me and Waz on social and let us know, because I want to know who your favorite player was that you started really, really digging the Oilers because. Waz, where do people follow you on social?
You can go on me on X or Twitter. And it's Waz with 3 Z's.
I don't like that. I'm on Twitter right now. I don't like this X thing.
Yeah. But if you're bored, check out my newest YouTube video for the Nation YouTube channel.
Oh, what do you got?
I put up a little video saying, here's why Ryan McLeod is important to the Edmonton Oilers.
Ooh, I like that. Go subscribe and download all that.
Yeah.
Go do it. Go check out our YouTube channel. Subscribe. See more Waz there, and also all over our socials and on the website. Thanks for jumping on for a couple minutes here, pal.
No worries. Take care. I appreciate it.
Talk to you tomorrow. There goes Waz. He's a good dude. I love that guy. Does good stuff for us on social. He is going to be making the clips for this week's show because Liam is on vacation. I already noticed that we're at 40 minutes and I got a whole lot of voicemails to get to. So with that in mind, it is time to get to a little betting talk right after this.
You're already listening to Better Late Than Never. Why don't you tell a friend? A human? A family member? Yes. Even if you run a hotel. Manuel! Oh, here we go. Yes. Leave a review.
For our friends at Betway, provided that you are 19 plus and can do so responsibly, let's talk a little bit of betting. Just a little bit of betting. So last week I was chasing the juice on my Daniel Ricciardo bet for the top 6, and let me tell you, it did not win. It did not happen. It did not happen. Now, looking ahead at the Belgian Grand Prix, where I really just, Max Verstappen is minus 350, and those odds I might actually put a couple of dollars on it because you're not going to get a huge return, but you're probably going to get a return. The good news is that the guy is just lightning fast. But if you want to chase the juice a little bit, myself and Gavin, the intern, we were talking about Lando Norris. He's got 2 podium finishes in back-to-back races. He is plus 900 to win the race, the Belgian Grand Prix. But I don't know that he's going to do it. Is that actually this weekend, by the way? The F1 schedule is so fucking dumb. It is this weekend. Excellent. So I can talk F1. I was like, let's talk betting about F1. And then we'll just not have a race for 9 weeks because that's what the sport does. All right. So podium finish here. This is what I'm looking at. Lando Norris is minus 150 for a podium finish, which is interesting because he got a couple back to back. Max Verstappen minus 700. Sergio Perez minus 163. And he's in that Red Bull. He came all the way back to finish in 3rd last weekend at the Hungarian Grand Prix. So if you're looking for a couple of extra shekels, why not talk a little F1? I'm still struggling with baseball, by the way. I'm still struggling. I'm not good at it. I don't understand. Like, I understand the sport. That's not what but I don't understand the sport, if you know what I'm saying. I don't know. Either way, so I'm going to be betting on F1. If you want to bet, you are 19 plus and can do so responsibly, make sure you do it with our friends at Betway. They are fantastic folks, and they've got fantastic options and odds for you.
Roof of the Saddle Dome crumbling. Roof of the Saddle Dome crumbling. Roof of the Saddle Dome crumbling. You're listening to Better Late Than Never, telling you to stay the fuck out of Calgary.
For Trilogy Oilfield Rentals, I don't actually have a righteous sack beating today.
You want to see a man, boy?
I don't have one today because nothing's really annoying me. Like, I could get really pissed off about people dropping their fucking drugs on the grass that my dog eats. Maybe that's the righteous sack beating. Hey, if you're taking drugs, take them. Don't leave them on the ground for my fucking dog. Anyway, I don't want to get upset again. I can feel it bubbling up just thinking about Frank being sick, and it just rattles me. So I'm going to change gears this week, and I'm going to go with the question of the week for our friends at Trilogy Oilfield Rentals. Of course, Trilogy is an established provider of tools and expertise across multiple oilfield disciplines, specializing in rentals, pipe recovery, abandonments, and completions. Currently, they maintain full-time operating units in Provost, Weyburn, and Kindersley. Every tool you need, including Rental tools, fishing tools, coil tools, drilling tools, mills and bits, completion tools, any tools you need. TrilogyRentals.ca. As I mentioned with Waz, I asked, what is the worst fast food restaurant and why? Now, Zachary Lang, Nation Network news director, says, honestly, KFC kind of ass. Some people like Zach's quote. I'm not a huge fan of KFC. I don't have qualms with KFC. I will murder popcorn chicken all day. Wheaton Oil says, most fast food places have at least something redeeming in them, except Burger King. There's nothing at Burger King you can't get better at multiple other places. At its absolute best, it is replacement level. It is the Leonard Petrel of fast food places. Now, the Leonard Petrel reference, it puts it over the top. Nation Network editor-in-chief David Quadrelli says it's got to be Burger King, right? Tube Sock says never had Arby's, so I'm going to guess that. I blocked and reported him. Sean Malugane says if Arby's didn't have curly fries, they would have died out years ago. Ducks and hides. How dare you? But my friend Patrick jumped in and says, don't mind me. I'm stretching before a fight. And he posted a picture of a man in an Arby's tracksuit. I don't know where you can get that weapon, but I think I would look very sexy in it. The Burger Baron says that backstabbing girlfriend stealing bastard Pete's drive-in burger joint in quotation. Surveyor Brett with a spicy take that I quite like because I hate their coffee outside of the vanilla cream cold brew. Tim Hortons. Mike says, I have to say Burger King, there's nothing they provide that gets me interested in going there. For Trilogy Rentals, of course, we're working through the question of the week. What is the worst fast food restaurant of all time? I'm sure we're going to have some more in the voicemail. I'm looking forward to those too. But Bryce says, this is probably going to get me a lot of hate, but Mary Brown's. That one is very surprising to me. Very, very surprising. Mary Brown's, they make good chicken. Unless they don't. One time I went to Mary Brown's and it was just not good. And I haven't been back since. Dirt and Diploma says McDonald's. It's too salty, too processed, and the fries are freaking horrendous. Which, wow. I'm a huge McDonald's fries guy. Huge McDonald's fries. Dirt and Diploma. I don't hate you, but I'm mad at you right now. Chris says DQ for anything other than ice cream and Burger King. Resistance Yeg says Burger King went way downhill in the 2000s. JT Seidel says Dairy Queen, their food is garbage. Burger 316 Colin says Quiznos, if they're even still around. Is there Quiznos? I haven't seen a Quiznos in a while. There used to be one across the street from me, but now it's gone. It's like I don't know what it is, but it's definitely not Quiznos anymore. I'm going to see the Quiznos Edmonton. I'm going to Google. I'm going to see how many locations there are. Oh, fuck. There's only 3 Quiznos in Edmonton left? Wow. Oh, I guess they've got like some mall locations or something. So 5 Quiznos locations in Edmonton. That is crazy to me. Wow. According to Scrape Hero, there are still 102 Quiznos restaurants in Canada as of May 4th, 2023. The province with the most number of Quiznos is British Columbia, with 33 restaurants, or 1/3 of the total across the country. Quiznos come and gone, huh? Kind of forgot about them, if I'm being honest, and I guess clearly everyone else did too. Thomas Terfloth says it's KFC and it's not close. 420 Hockey Man says Arby's. Ari says Arby's. Both of you have been blocked, reported, and I am digging through your garbage to find nefarious details about you. Hamp says Carl's Jr.'s garbage. Ryan Probert says Subway, fuck that shit. And Tally's dad, the Penguin, says Arby's, go ahead and report me, which I then did promptly. Love this. I love food conversations because everybody's so opinionated on them, and they've all got their takes on what rules, what doesn't rule, anything in between. I love it. So I'm probably going to ask more food questions as we go through the summer here because I love them. And that's where we're going to wrap up what was supposed to be the righteous sack beating for my friends at Trilogy Oilfield Rentals.
Hey everyone, it's me, Bagged Milk, and you're listening to Better Late Than Never with Bagged Milk. Now go and buy a fucking car from Alfa Romeo Edmonton I'll find where you live and shit in your fucking letterbox.
The voicemail brought to you by Alfa Romeo of Edmonton. The Tenali has landed. Book a test drive today at alfaromeoedmonton.ca. The Tenali is an SUV. It's their entry-level kind of SUV if you want to get into the luxury market. I cannot wait to test drive one of these. I booked myself in to test drive one in a couple weeks, I think. I'm looking forward to it. So stay tuned for some pictures of the Tenali. The thing looks awesome. I cannot wait to get myself inside of that whip. It looks great. Alfa Romeo of Edmonton is the sponsor of the voicemail, alfaromeoedmonton.ca. Let's start off with the first voicemail is coming from Chad.
Hey, Bag Milk. I have a little concert story from one I went to last week.
Please.
It was at Starlight Room, kind of like a really
Great venue, by the way. If you get to see a band at Starlight Room, it rules. Small place. Awesome.
heavy underground show there. So I know that there's going to be moshing, stage diving, all that shit. It's part of the culture. Been around a long time. I get that. So I wanted to just watch, not really be part of that. So I parked myself with my elbows on the stage as far right as I could go. So I would, sort of be out of the main area.
So like I'm picturing it like from the back looking at the stage. You're all the way far right on the stage. You were right up against it, elbows on. I get you. I can visualize.
Where crazy stuff was happening. I had this one guy 3 times. He ripped me by my shoulders away from the stage so he could jump up and stage dive. I'm not a dickhead. Like if you say, hey, I want to jump up on the stage, could you move over? Yeah, man, absolutely. To just rip me 3 times, just completely violently, honestly. I don't think that's cool.
That is
worse
cool.
Yet, though, the second time he went up there, he went and bear hugged the singer and ripped the microphone out of his hand and started singing the part himself. To me, that's just making the night about yourself.
Yep.
You don't care about anybody else's time. I didn't think that was cool. Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with you. That's not cool. I wish you would have said who the name of the band was. I love a good punk rock show. So there's part of it. I've been to concerts at small venues and punk shows specifically where people have gotten up on stage and jumped off. I get it. It's like you said, Chad, it's part of the culture. You go in there. If you've gone to one before, you kind of expect it going in, so you adjust accordingly, which it sounds like you tried to do. What I don't like is the guy not just being like, hey, man, I want to jump off the stage. Can you help me? Because any mosh pit I've ever been in my life, and I've been in dozens of them, you just ask, hey, man, I want to crowd surf. And they'll be like, oh, up you go. Just a little communication with the people around you. And also mosh pit culture, if someone falls, you pick them up. That's what you do. So this guy sounds like if someone falls, he's just going to step on them. Because one, if I go to my favorite band, which I don't know if it's your favorite band or not, it doesn't matter. If I go to a band that I've paid for and I want to see them perform, I don't want some asshole singing the song. That song may be my favorite song that band performs, and I don't want some dude who has nothing to do with the band getting in the way of my good time. Maybe I'm selfish. I don't know. Chat again. You're up.
Hey, Bag Milk. I have an Oilers meeting story.
Oh, let's do it.
A second.
Man, we did a hard pivot here. I'm into it.
Voicemail. I was at the Pint downtown, and I was at the booth right by the entrance, and I was facing the entrance. And Matt Benning walked in, and I was already hammered. And he kind of walked in, and he kind of stopped near the table just to kind of scope it out. And I just looked up at him and I said, "You're sick." And I put my hand out and he fist bumped me. And he's like, "Thanks." And that was the end of the interaction. That's the only Oiler I've ever met.
I love that because it's such just a silly thing. You're sick. Oh, thanks, buddy. And he gives you a fist bump. But I also bet for him, Chad, that was probably one of the coolest interactions that he had that day because it was so non-threatening. You gave him a compliment. Regardless, it was a drunk guy compliment. We'll forget that for a second. Quick fist bump. He moves on with his life. He didn't try to have a conversation. You didn't try to bog him down. You didn't try to do any of that shit. So he probably appreciated it. One time I was at a local establishment and Connor McDavid walked in. I was hammered. And I turned to my left because one of my buddies points over my shoulder. I turned to my left and there's Connor McDavid. And I said something. I don't remember what I said, but it was close to "you're sick." I'm like, "Dude, fucking sweet game," or something like that. I wish I could remember what I said. And I shook his hand and that was it. Players, I think, and this is just my own thoughts. Players probably don't mind you going to say hi to them. Just don't be annoying about it. That's all. Next message. This one's anonymous.
Fucking right. You know, bad milk. I can't do it. Shit. It's 3 a.m. And I got this great fucking idea for a voicemail. Shit.
Calling into old bag milk at 3 a.m., eh? All right. Next anonymous voicemail.
Fucking, you know why you should vote for me and not Donkey Volley? I'm not annoying your ear holes with annoying Chewbacca sounds. Fuck, I can't do it. Oh, my God, I'm fucking pissed. Until I get it. I want to get this. This is fucking great and fucking stupid.
All right, well,
but whatever. I
hope the next 5 are all you that are anonymous. Let's check in on this one.
Good afternoon. This is the donkey.
At some point, are you going to cut this guy off? Can't be leaving 5-10 voicemails at 3 a.m. and then just telling yourself you suck. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to allow this to happen.
I can't.
I've got an idea what this next 14 seconds is going to be like.
And it's an 0-2 pitch. Ground ball to short. Flip to first. That's a good play right there. He picked it right off the dirt. A nice stab at first base to grab the ball and go Team Donkey, you bastards.
Okay, that is not what I was expecting. Shit. I love this podcast. Of course, we're working through the Alfa Romeo of Edmonton voicemail. Another anonymous. This coming in. I wish I could see what time it was at.
Good afternoon.
It's the donkey.
Wherever you are. Time difference, etc. This presidential election needs to step up. And yes, I am challenging Mr. Dukes and the child who should be playing on his bike and delivering papers or something. I don't know. I like it. You've got... I'm trying not to say spunk. You've got spunk. Wow, it's like my 80s American... what's it called? I don't know. What's the thing about the bell with that... Tiffany Amber Thiessen. Oh, sorry, me.
Tiffany Amber Thiessen. How did she come into this voicemail? Oh, my Lord. Man, she was a babe. I loved her when I was in probably high school. Younger than that, probably. Oh, Tiffany Amber Thiessen. I love you. I hope you're doing well.
Yes. Saved by the Bell. Yeah, you've got spunk, etc., young boy. Which is apparently not a great thing to say right now. Anyway, stuff off. I endorse a presidential special of Better Late Than Never. Who's with me? Or who, more importantly, is quite against me.
So I was on Threads the other day. You can follow me at Hi, my name is Bagmilk if you're on Threads. And where is it now? Electronic Jordan. You need a better... Come on, Zuckerberg. I need to be able to sort my mentions better. All right, here we go. Electronic Jordan sent me a link that says worldclockmeetingplanner.com. This is going to be for Donkey Volley and for Dukes to see if I can't organize a chat where the three of us can sync it up. Otherwise, I might have to do I might have to do just individually. That won't be as fun. But ultimately, I just want to talk to the boys. So that's really what it's about, whether it's one-on-one or whether it's both or whether we just have fun together, which is what I would like to do. We're going to try to figure that out. So Electronic Jordan sent me a little tool that I can try and plan it out with, and we're going to work on that with the boys. Again, that was also why I tried calling Waz through the Rodecaster today. I'm curious how that sounded for you. So if you're listening to the podcast and you went, hey man, that Waz phone call sounded like shit, don't do that, then I'll know that I need to do some work in the settings, and I will do so. So let me know, give me some feedback on that. Next voicemail for the Alfa Romeo of Edmonton voicemail inbox.
This is a message for young Ben, a whippersnapper in the Better Lait Than Never presidential election. Bonjour, je m'appelle Donkey. De long? Je peux aussi parler de long. Ouais. Oh. Now get on your bike and go and deliver papers. Edmonton needs papers. Come on.
Do we need papers? Do we need papers, though? Another anonymous voicemail. I don't see Ben in my voicemail at all this week. I got a lot, though, this week, so we got to rip through them.
Good afternoon. It's the donkey.
Mm-hmm.
We need to step this up.
Yep.
I challenge Dukes and young Ben, if he's not on his bike and delivering papers, to a challenge of an as-live presidential debate. What have you got to hide, boys? I want the people of this podcast to know what I stand for. And then let the people decide. The valued listeners.
I like Serious Donkey. I do. There's another 4-second message coming. I'm going to guess it's him again.
Good afternoon.
Donkey Volley, I like you, man. I really do. Again, I think I mentioned this. Is it Donkey Volley again? Might be. I mentioned this last week, but there's a group text on Instagram between, or I guess a group chat, whatever, on Instagram between me, Dukes, and Donkey Volley, and those two are fucking madmen. Dukes posted a video in there the other day of him slapping the bass, and it made me laugh. He was kind of playing, not really playing, just fucking around. He's just, I don't know, it was entertaining to look at. I do that. David Quadrelli right now is texting me like he's pitching article ideas, which is what his job is. So I respect it. So I'm going to call him too. We're going to do another phone call on here. We're going to try to fuck around here during the Alfa Romeo of Edmonton voicemail. And I'm going to see how it sounds if I can talk to Quads here real quick. I just want to pitch this idea. Maybe get your help as you send in voicemails and just kind of workshop some stuff with me. So I'm going to call Quads here. We're going to try, this is take 2 of calling somebody. Quads, I'm recording a podcast right now, and I'm testing my Rodecaster with my phone via Bluetooth.
Yeah.
So you are a guest on my podcast, an impromptu guest.
It's very echoey.
That's what Waz said too. You're the second phone call that I've tried so far, and it's echoey, and I don't know how to fix it.
Are you connected? Like, what's your Rodecaster connected to?
What do you mean?
Like, is it plugged into your computer, or are you doing it directly into the computer?
Yeah, directly into the computer.
Okay.
So my phone right now is on Bluetooth. Because
turn down every knob.
All right.
Except for your output.
Yeah.
Which should be going into headphones, right?
Yep.
And then turn down all the mics except for yours.
All right. Everything's down except the mic and the Bluetooth fader, which is you.
Okay.
Is that any better?
It's still echoing. No, it's still echoing. I don't know what the issue is.
Shit, man. Well, I'm workshopping some stuff, so I figured, like, you're texting me right now about an interesting idea. And I thought a couple of minutes, I'm going to try another phone call with Quads on the podcast. And then 2, I want to talk about the idea a little bit. So the idea is biggest one-hit wonders in Oilers history, and you're sending this to editors across the network. So when you think of one-hit wonders, what does that mean to you, Quads?
Well, I was thinking, like, just guys who showed up on the scene and were very promising, but then turned out to be nothing.
So do you mean like
from
they
an
had
Oilers
like a hot?
perspective-
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say from an Oilers perspective, like I'm curious who you would say, because I was looking at the Canucks one and I saw Anders Nilsson, who I found out played for the Oilers.
Yes, he did. Yep.
I didn't even know he did. I didn't know he had a stint with them. But I was looking with the Canucks, and when it happened in Vancouver, everybody was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the 1A, 1B with Jacob Markstrom. Like, this is the 6'6" Swedish goaltender who's going to get to work with Ian Clark. It's going to be amazing. Everything's going to be fine. He's going to rebuild his career in Vancouver. And he had some really solid starts where he put up like a .931 save percentage over a decent stretch of games. And everybody thought this is the goaltender of the future. Like, he's going to be the next Jacob Markstrom. And like, well, not even the next Jacob Markstrom, just the guy that was going to take the starting job ahead of Jacob Markstrom. And it just didn't work out that way.
The only guy, like, I got to put some thought into it because I think it's fun, this article idea. The only person that comes to mind off the top of my head was the Oilers traded for Derek Roy back in 2014-15. And he turned into kind of like a Nail Yakupov whisperer. In 46 games, he had 11 goals, 11 assists, and 22 points. So people thought, like, you know, for a middle sixer that he would come in and be able to contribute and help as a veteran presence. And then he didn't come back here.
You just described Derek Roy, his tenure in Vancouver as well. Like, exactly what happened in Vancouver is what happened in Edmonton.
Well, there you have it. So Derek Roy could be an answer on both. Maybe we just write each other's articles here.
Exactly. Absolutely. And like, okay, so let's think harder. Like for Edmonton, let's think in Edmonton. And you know what this reminds me of is the whole puck doku immaculate grid, game that's going on right now.
How are you at that?
Reminds me of it.
How are you at that game, by the way?
I'm actually pretty good. The other day I did an all Vancouver Canucks answer. Every player I answered was a Vancouver Canuck. And the other day there was one where every answer was Todd Bertuzzi. Like, if you were able to use multiple players, Todd Bertuzzi was eligible for every box.
I'm so bad at puck doku that it's like, players will come and go out of my life and then I forget they existed. I move on.
Yep, that's fair.
So puck doku, I haven't played today, but I will confess this to you now, Quads. Podcast confessions. I have only gone 9 for 9 on the grid once.
Yeah, I'm better at the baseball one. Like, I'll gladly tell you that. My knowledge of baseball guys from way back when is much higher than it is for the NHL. Like, I'll be honest about that. I'm better at the baseball one than I am hockey. Have you tried the baseball one?
No, I could never do that. I've really only started getting, like, I used to watch baseball a lot. I used to watch the Jays a lot when Roy Halladay was playing. I used to watch most games with my dad then, and we would watch them a lot. But then I went probably a 15-year gap where I didn't watch any baseball at all. So I just started getting...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then I just started getting back into the Jays kind of last year, just because it's a sport where you can have baseball on in the background and you don't have to pay full attention to it. You can kind of do other things, and then you can pay attention when you want. That's what I like about baseball. I love going to baseball games. I've been to 5-6 Riverhawks games. I'm going to Vancouver in September. Are the Vancouver Giants still going to be playing in September or no?
The Vancouver Giants are a WHL team.
Well, the Vancouver Canadians is what I meant.
That's right. The Vancouver Canadians will be, because they're now a high A team. So they used to have a season that ran from they started in June and then it ended in like late August, early September. But now they're on the minor league baseball schedule for a high A team, which starts in April and ends in late September with playoffs in October. So that has led to a lot of rainouts. I will be honest with you. There has been rainouts in the games that happened in the start of April.
So I guess my question is there a chance then, Quads, that when I'm in Vancouver in mid-September that you and I can go to a Vancouver Canadians game?
Undoubtedly. And I think we could even get favor there too. And you can have a yard dog, which is a 3-foot long hot dog.
That's too much dog for me.
Yeah, it's not when you have 3 people.
Oh, just like we could have like a Lady and the Tramp situation, me and Faber when we kiss in the middle?
Exactly. You string it along all three of our laps, and then we just lift up in unison and just eat.
All right, I'm in. Since I've got you, Quads, before I let you go, because take you behind the scenes, dear listeners, Quads and I have spent a lot of time on the phone together today. I need to ask you my question of the week. Trilogy Oilfield Rentals, I just was doing it. The worst fast food chain ever, Quads, is and why?
So it's Burger King, and I replied to your tweet about this because I'm very passionate about this. And like, I had someone reply to me and say, "Oh, you can't say Subway because that's the obvious answer."
Is it though?
Like Subway.
Is Subway the obvious answer? I would disagree with that. In fact, if we're talking
with that too.
If we're talking straight sub places, I would say I'd pick Subway over Mr. Sub any day.
Mr. Sub, Quiznos, I would take Subway for sure. Like people don't appreciate a good sandwich is the thing. Like you're getting a fast food sandwich. How good do you think it's going to be?
Do you know that? So somebody in my mentions on Twitter or X.com, whatever the fuck Elon wants to call it today, mentioned Quiznos, and then the qualifier was Quiznos if they're still around. So what I had to Google there, Quiznos are disappearing at an alarming rate. Did you know this?
No, I didn't.
There are only 5 Quiznos left in all of Edmonton now. And they used to be everywhere. Wow. And I also learned, Quads, that 1/3 of all remaining Quiznos left in Canada are in BC.
Wow, that's interesting because I can't even name one close to me. Like I don't even know where there is one.
Yeah, like there was one across the street from me, and it's like a card shop or something now. Like I have no idea what it is, but it's not even a food thing anymore.
Wow, and that's that's the unfortunate case for Arby's too. There's 2 Arby's in BC. Thankfully, they're both within an hour drive of me, but they're still close to 45 minutes away.
You know what? Too many people said Arby's as the answer for this question, so I've had to block and report a lot of people on social media.
Well, that's the thing is people are just uneducated, right? Like
that's right.
If you have the fries, like if you have the little curly fries, and you walk away saying that this is the worst fast food establishment you've ever been to, you need to go to more fast food establishments because it's just incorrect.
You have no taste buds.
It's Burger King. I landed on Burger King, and it's true. Like, it is Burger King. There's good things about Burger King, but when you look at it as a whole, it's the worst fast food place. It is.
I couldn't tell you the last time I ate at a Burger King, to be honest. I have no idea.
Okay, well, here's the thing: is why would you, right? Like that's the thing. If people say Subway, okay, what's the better sandwich place? Because I can name about 4 better burger places than Burger King.
Oh yeah. Somebody
right. So that's what it comes down to.
Wheat and Oil on Twitter said that Burger King is replacement level food. If you're giving it an NHL analogy.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
There goes Frank. Frank's off. So Quads, I will let you go. Thank you for accepting my call. I want to get your idea on the podcast. I think it's a good one. If you're listening to this, hit me and Quads up on social because I want to know who's your one-hit wonders for the Oilers. What about the Canucks? Help us do our work. We're very lazy in the summer, aren't we, Quads?
That's right. Thank you for having me.
All right, buddy. Thanks for picking up. Thanks for the feedback and trying to help me fix the echo on this Bluetooth machine here.
Right on, buddy. Long live Arby's.
Long live Arby's. There goes Quads, editor-in-chief of the Nation Network. Love that dude. I love him. Back to the voicemail for Alfa Romeo of Edmonton.
Milk, I got to be a little bit quiet because it happens to be 2 a.m. on a Sunday. What a great decision when I have to work tomorrow morning. Anyway, I was listening to the pod earlier.
Ah, shit. Why did that happen? Fuck.
Milk, I got to be a little bit quiet because it happens to be 2 a.m.
What is happening? What is happening?
I got to be a little bit quiet because it happens to be 2 a.m.
Why are you calling me at 2 a.m. anyway?
On a Sunday. What a great decision when I have to work tomorrow morning. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I was listening to the pod earlier, and I kind of realized that I should give Too Hot to Handle a shot.
Yeah, you got to.
And holy shit, I just binged the first 7 episodes all since about 3 o'clock. Wow.
Yeah.
The show is like honestly terrible, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm addicted. I'm gonna have to go back and watch seasons 1 through 4 because, yeah, it's unreal.
It is.
Anyway,
it's a great show.
Too hot to handle. Also, Alex is my guy. I want that guy to do good.
Too hot to handle. Yeah. Last week I talked about maybe doing like some too hot to handle content. Just to kind of have fun with it and give you guys some different episodes throughout the week. So I might do a season recap. I'm thinking about it. I'm caught up. I'm waiting for the new episodes. I've got notes in my phone, so I might do a season recap, but we'll see. I'm glad you guys are getting into Too Hot to Handle. I'm also jealous that you've never watched it before and you've got all those seasons to go back to. It is a great, great show that is absolutely terrible.
Is this a message for Donkey Volley? Dude, you fucking suck.
Eloquent in his brevity, you know?
Good afternoon, Better Late Than Never listeners.
You're not going to fool me this time.
In addition to endorsing myself as your president, I would also like to take this opportunity to endorse the sport of badger fucking. Yeah.
Listen, if you're gonna fuck a badger, you gotta be careful, okay? They've got claws and teeth. Listen, I went out in the woods. Dukes had me going out there. I was intrigued. You know, I was gonna experience new things. Satan is open to new things. And then all of a sudden, Duke sends me on a badger fucking expose, or expedition, I should say. And it did not go well for Satan. You be careful in these streets.
This one comes in from Random Canadian. Random Canadian.
Hey, Bagged Milk, this is not Presto. It's the Random Canadian. I've had an idea about what we could potentially name this community.
Yeah.
And I think it fits well with what we're about.
Milk Duds was a popular one. I wish I could remember all of Captain Felton's suggestions from last week off the top of my head because they were very funny.
And the whole nation, fucking have a nation in the name. So, what do you think of this?
Go ahead.
Lactation Nation. Just an idea I had while I was picturing Donkey Volley fucking a badger. Yeah, let's go Oilers.
Let's go Oilers indeed. Lactation Nation. I don't know if I support my leaky nipples. Next one. Let's go.
Okay, I have not.
Well, could have passed that one.
As I was saying, I have not been on here in so long. First, I would like to talk about the season. I think that the season was pretty entertaining. You know, I feel like it was. There wasn't as many ups and downs.
Are we talking about the Oilers? You want to talk about the season ending? Man, we're like, that happened 2 months ago. Anyway, I'll follow through.
It's like extreme as the season before, which was nice. But
no coaches got fired. That's good, right? Shout out to Dave Tippett. He's probably retiring, living his best life somewhere.
Yeah, I really think we could have won the Stanley Cup.
Me too.
If we had better goaltending and more depth showed up. But I think that Campbell's gonna rebound and have a bounce back season.
Me too.
I just feel it. I think that he'll show up, and if he doesn't, and if somehow this person has not been traded yet, I think they go after Hart during next year's deadline. If he's not taken, I don't know how he won't be by the end of the summer. But yeah, as far as his election goes, I'm gonna have to go Donkey Volley.
Donkey Volley,
definitely. Long-term contributor.
Yep.
But I had to get a car too. I don't know what to get though. I want to get a Subi, but I don't know. I always hear that boxer engines aren't very reliable, but it's better than Better than a Miata.
How about you go get yourself into a Alfa Romeo? Of course, you were leaving a message on the Alfa Romeo of Edmonton voicemail. The Tenali. If you're talking about cars like a Subaru, go test drive a Tenali. I encourage you. I sat in one. It's beautiful. Question for the Australians is next. Play.
Also, I just want to ask 2 questions to Donkey Volley and Dukes.
Well, Donkey Volley is he's actually English. Yeah, he's from Northern England. Dukes is Australian, though, so I don't know if this question will apply to both anymore, or at least one of them will be an answer.
How do you guys deal with huntsman spiders? Because if I remember correctly, you guys are from Australia.
It is a good question. How do you deal with huntsman spiders? They're huge. I've seen them. I've been to Australia, and I've seen them. They're gigantic. I don't like it.
I don't think you guys are from New Zealand. I don't ever remember that. But if I'm forgetting something, then I forgot something. But yeah, how the fuck do you deal with that? Like, imagine waking up from a hangover, right? You actually have good hangover food, right? You don't have veggies with fucking butter.
Tyler.
What the fuck, Tyler?
Mm-hmm.
And you just wake up and you go to you go take a fucking piss, and then to the left of you, just some giant ass spider next to you. Like how the fuck do you, like, how do you, like, not freak out? Like you guys are just fucking built different, because if that happened to me, I'd be like fucking terrified. I guess like they don't get agitated easily, but like at this point, you might as well just give them the keys to the fucking house.
Who are you, sir? Who are you? You need to leave more voicemails because you were all over the place. Shout out to the Kiwis, Dukes, and Donkey Volley. Ari, you are up.
Sorry, Bagged Milk, but the all-time worst fast food chain.
Don't say it.
It's Arby's.
Ah, damn it!
I will never go out of my way to go to an Arby's.
Damn it!
And it's like a dollar store Wendy's, in my opinion.
Oh, how dare you!
Just less of everything and like worse quality. If I didn't pick Arby's, I'd go with McDonald's, because I saw that one documentary of the guy who ate McDonald's for a month.
Yeah,
and
supersize me.
He got a whole bunch of health problems after that.
Mm.
And I've only been there twice, so like it's kind of scared me off ever since then.
Really? I like McDonald's, but at the same point, it's like when I eat there, I know what I'm getting. Why? I know it's not healthy. So the thing with Morgan Spurlock eating McDonald's every meal for 30 days, like nobody does that. At least I don't think so. If you do, you should, mix in a salad and some fucking water every now and then. But that's what ultimately led to Morgan Spurlock's health issues, is that's too much McDonald's. But you know what? If you pop in there, you're good and shittered, 2 a.m, get some nugs once in a while. Come on, man. That's good living.
This is a message for that imposter from last week. What are you doing? What are you doing trying to be me? You'll never be me. You'll never be me.
Oh yeah, I forgot Ben tried to do an Arnold Schwarzenegger impersonation last week, and it was so bad. It was kind of like an Irish accent. It was the best. I loved it. Ben, you're the best.
Never even be Donkey Volley. Well, you probably be Donkey Volley, because that guy's an asshole. But anyway, why are you trying to be me for? You need to put it down. Put the voicemail down.
Alfa Romeo of Edmonton voicemail. 2 more left. Let's go.
Blimey, old Bag Milk, you're never gonna fucking believe this.
Go ahead.
Now, I've got a friend. I know that might be hard to believe, but I do have a friend, or an acquaintance at least, shall we say, who will remain nameless for tax reasons. He invited me along to this social group last week called the Durham County Badger Fuckers. Now, they sort of seem like pretty sound blokes, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just proper geezers that can talk a bit of bollocks. Cry about England fucking losing the Ashes to Australia. And, maybe shagging a badger or two. But there was this one fella, apparently he runs the show. He's the president of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Mate, I never thought I'd lose an erection inside a badger before. I never thought that would happen in my life, right?
Uh-huh.
But he's only come along mid-badger, mind you, and started talking about trading Ryan Nugent Hopkins for a fucking 5th round pick. Now, mate, just like the English's performance in the Ashes, that's just not cricket, mate. That's just not cricket. You're going to have to fucking cut him off. I think his name was... I don't know, but he's a badger fucker, so fuck him.
There might... that anonymous voicemail may have had an agenda to it, but I could be wrong. Last voicemail for Alfa Romeo of Edmonton. Let's hit it.
Hello, Bag Milk. It's your old pal Kate here. In regards to your question this week, and let me just preface by saying I know this is going to cause some controversy and most likely get me blocked, reported, deleted,
Don't you dare say it, Kate. Don't you dare say
it. The answer
it.
was, is, and always will be Arby's.
Damn it.
No, I will not be taking any questions at this time, and I wish you a good day, sir.
Why has everybody got to hurt me? Kate comes in, last voicemail of the week. I'm getting set to send this voicemail file off to Waz so we can cut up some clips, and then you go and hurt me like that, Kate. Well, it's tough on these streets for us RB fans. Not a lot of us left, it seems. I'm going to have to hit up every location this weekend just to make sure that they at least sold something this weekend, you know? I'll do a tour if I have to. I'll pick up Rick on my way. I'll grab Jay. The three of us will go hit up Arby's everywhere. And we'll eat it all. And we will eat it all. And that's where we're going to end off the Alfa Romeo of Edmonton voicemail. The voicemail brought to you by Alfa Romeo of Edmonton. Check them out, alfaromeoedmonton.ca. alfaromeoedmonton.ca. Book in to test drive the Tenali. I promise you will not regret it. Okay? Okay. And there you have it. Another episode of Better Late Than Never in the books. Thank you guys so much for being here. I want to thank the audio department, Trilogy Oilfield Rentals, Betway, and of course, Alfa Romeo of Edmonton for making this all possible. Most importantly, all of you for leaving voicemails, participating, even though some of you hurt my feelings. Some of you took a very specific shot at me with your Arby's hatred, but I'll forgive you. I will forgive you. Last thing I want to say, take care of your dogs, all right? Make sure you give them a cuddle. All of your dogs, hug them tighter today because shit's getting weird out there.
Tie-tie.